Good afternoon. We will start by 5. Our guest speaker will also join in due course of time. Yes, sir, your screen is visible, sir.
It's a full screen or
So you need to do full screen. Yes, sir, now it is full screen, sir.
okay. So we'll have this session more or less interactive, and
Sure.
you can always question in the end. You can type in the chat, or if you want, just raise hand or just interrupt me. Uh, it should not go in a one-way mode. So we have been hearing the term called innovation, entrepreneurship, and even uh, whenever we do projects among ourselves, at least in the technical institutions, we always quote, my project is very innovative. Or then there are courses in the BBA and MBA dedicatedly mentioned as entrepreneurship minor, entrepreneurship major. And there are institutes in India, like one of them is Entrepreneurship Development Institute. And similarly, for innovation, we have National Innovation Foundation. But there's still a clarity required what exactly innovation means. So everywhere we talk about this word innovation. Every startup we say, okay, my friend has a very innovative startup. Every award ceremony, or you see the magazines or the articles, companies like Your Story keeps on publishing the articles. Everywhere, all the startups that they publish, they always mention as an innovative. Flipkart, it's innovative. Amazon is innovative. I mean, what exactly is innovative? So, how do you think whether something is innovative or not innovative? How it is justifiable? It should not just be a buzzword. Okay, this is innovative. So we'll just quickly go through all these things throughout our discussion in this session. And at least I expect by the end of the session, we should be able to define uh, what exactly innovation means. And that should not be a theoretical aspect. It should be something we should be able to justify. Okay, this idea is innovative, or whether to pursue this idea, what are the entrepreneur traits and how to go with it. Being a student in your campus, in your college, let's say in first year or second year, do you really think that these traits can be developed, etc., etc.? So I'll not quantify them, but throughout we'll keep on covering these aspects. So this is the ecosystem of innovation: diversity, disruption, culture, incentives for creativity, and fuzzy processes. Diversity, these all are general English terms. Diversity is like open-ended ecosystem, from all the castes, all the religions, all the academic courses, ethnic, everything. It should be open. Like we have faculty and students, they form very diversified group, very cohesive and adhesive. Both kind of association is important. Disruption, it should not only be disruptive. That's what I feel. Disruption is something we create it. Any idea, we make it disruptive. So that disruption part is something of this ecosystem. Culture, a silo-free equalitarian environment. It should not be questioned. I'm doing some experiment. I may fail, I may pass, but at least in my surroundings, in my entropical systems across me, they should not be, keep on uh, punching me. Okay, this is right, this is wrong, or we should not be doing it in a vice versa mode. Incentives, obviously, when you do something, are there should be some incentivization, and that is something we are working in the country in various institutes. That I'll tell you later how government has raised some initiatives around it. And fuzzy processes. So every time you cannot expect whatever you are doing, you'll get success out of it. You have to be on a fuzzy mode 1 and 0, and you have to accept that fact. So all those these five components creates an innovation ecosystem. So innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. So actually innovation are of two types, and there is a third type which came over the time. One of them is evolutionary innovation. Second is revolutionary innovation. So basically in the market, many years back, there were still fuel injection based system, carburetors, there were normal computers, machines, razor blades. These were there in the market, and the company used to modify it. Okay, so let's improve it in this manner, let's make this new product, let's make something of this kind. So all those things were traditionally were in the market, but over the time companies they feel कि चलो थोड़ा सा modify करते हैं, थोड़ा सा नया version में लेके आते हैं. Like CPUs, पहले उनका ATX कैबिनेट बहुत बड़ा होता था. Then they realized कि इसको छोटा कर सकते हैं, फैन की पावर बढ़ा दी CPU में, हीटिंग कम हो जाए, all those things. Then it came the revolutionary evolution, something which never existed, but from the existing thing they got created. So माउस का जो कॉन्सेप्ट था जीरोक्स ने बहुत पहले बना लिया था. Many years back, Xerox the only company, they made the mouse. माउस तो बना लिया, but they didn't know उसको करना क्या है. So then Apple bought that mouse. Apple bought the patents, Apple bought the mouse. And then Apple started using this mouse as the mouse with these computers. And that's how Apple is completely, revolutionized this industry of computing by use of that mouse that was created by Xerox, and Xerox could not value it, and they just sold it to Apple without taking much bandwidth out of it, much money out of it. Similarly, in automobiles, earlier there were old mechanics for the fuel injection were being used, which Ford has created, but over the time there has been a lot of innovations happening across it, and uh, based on those evolution innovation, these have created a lot of revolution across these traditional systems. So that's why we call them revolutionary innovation. And then there comes something we called disruptive innovation. So this is a keyword you might hear everywhere. This innovation is very disruptive, or government sites पे जितने events होते हैं, you will see it that the competition, they want disruptive innovative idea. So these things. So the innovation that disrupts an existing market and value network creates a new market providing a different set of values. So Internet of Things, cloud, mobile internet, 3D printing, they are just new things and using the old processes. For example, 3D printing. So now 3D printing machines cost from 30,000 to like 1 CR, 1 crores, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 2 crores. They're in different varieties. And these industrial 3D printers can do a lot of things. Prosthetic hands, prosthetic legs, these 3D printers can create. So over the time, these boxes, these machines came in, and they again removed the existing market. They completely changed the scenario. For example, I'll quote this Reliance's mobile. And earlier there was like only one or two service providers serving in the rural parts of India. But eventually, Reliance has converted their whole market and put their whole system, the communication, into this business of tier 3 and tier 2 cities, targeting all the users across it, putting a lot of money, but they disrupted their market. We always hear the term called invention. So there are invention and innovation. There are two things. So invention is riskiest and extreme form of innovation. So why we call it riskiest and extreme form? See, I invented a system wherein with the same charger, with the same adapter, I can always, once it is connected to laptop, it adjusts its this power consumption voltage regulation when I plug it with computer, it again do its own adjustment. So let's say we have that kind of charger. Now we invented this thing, and again, this is the innovation and this is the invention both. But this is something not from either the revolutionary or evolutionary or using some existing case. So for example, this charger has been used on one charger is used for mobile. For laptop, there has to be separate charger. For computer, there has to be separate charger. We combine this thing, try to integrate into one system, which is indeed an invention and which has the capability to go for an IPR. Similarly, it's like development of completely new or the novel product or the process, which can be scalable, which can has a successful implementation, etc. So, for example, you might have heard about some students and faculty from IIT Madras. They have designed a product wherein, with the moisture, you can generate water, fresh water, and the target audience were the navy and the coastal guards who spend a lot of time on ships and they have this water problem. When you hear that, this sounds really good. Okay, we invented it, we patented it, but if you go on the ground, you see the reality. It's not always that true, because bringing that system onto the field and the kind of systems integration, the cost involved, the quality of moisture converted to water, etc., is not that feasible. You cannot solve this problem permanently. So that will be counted as invention, and you cannot go for commercializing that invention. That is good that you had something like this. Scalable, for scalability, again you need to have a lot of research or the infrastructure to be added. So this is a question. Yeah, somebody is trying to say something.
Mm. You can unmute yourself before speaking. Sir, I think that was by mistake by
No
someone.
problem. No problem. So, like we have all the category of people here, and this question is like more or less, I think, better interpreted in this domain when we have everybody. So, when we say, "Are we innovative?" So that doesn't mean that okay, I can solve the problem or I can think innovatively. So when I say I think innovatively, I don't know what is this think innovatively, or I can teach with some innovation factor, or I can learn with some innovation factor, etc. So whenever you say innovation factor or being innovative, you have to observe what is the value or what is the outcome coming out of it, not just the output. For example, I'm studying. While studying, I thought, why don't we create a note? So I started making notes, and I observed that over the time I'm just making notes. I could not complete my syllabus. Another model is, I thought, let's bring some other students who don't know any of it, any of the concept. So I told them, okay, sit with me. I just read it and I explain it. So me studying and then explaining it to them at least makes me a little bit more confident. So that is one way of creating an innovative process about our learning. Similarly, when teacher teaches in the classroom, one way is traditional way, going to the room and writing on the board. Otherwise, round, don't write on the board. Let the students come and talk about it. Give them a homework. Follow a flip-based model. Let them do a homework. Then you discuss about it. Kind of you learn from them is one of the flip-based model that I used to follow when I was in innovation center, and where I spent a couple of years. So that also works, which I have seen that you keep experimenting. Until unless we don't experiment, the new things won't come up. And when new things won't come up, you are going the traditional way, there won't be much learning. And that learning part is something we can call, since there is no much value coming out of it, no much outcome associated, I don't think we should call it as an innovation ecosystem, because these are the factors. Until unless you have it, you don't have these outcomes in your hand, uh, then it's a traditional system. So it's a traditional way of evolutionary innovation की आज हमने एक नॉर्मल साइकिल बनाई, कल हमने उस साइकिल के टायर्स मोटे कर दिए, नेक्स्ट लॉन्च में हमने साइकिल में हैंडल्स का डिजाइन चेंज कर दिया. सो दिस इज लाइक प्रोडक्ट जैसे चेंज होता है कि लक्स पहले इस फॉर्म में आता था, फिर लक्स साबुन को दूसरे तरीके से कर दिया, एटसेट्रा. So I'll basically this is one thing. I'll just explain you a very good story. So being an entrepreneur, we generally say entrepreneurs are born. These are very traditional word you will see everywhere. Entrepreneurs have great idea, risk takers, visionary, extraordinary forecasters, age, young age people can do lot more thing. You need lot of money, and starting a venture is just a, you know straightforward thing at times, and 9 out of 10 ventures fail. All statements are false. So the first point, entrepreneurs are born, not made. I don't think so this is a valid thing to say, and if you believe something like this, I won't say anything about it. Second is, uh, just to getting if you go a little bit deeper, entrepreneurs not just means you are creating a startup. That's a very big misconception. You being observing something, you being taking some initiative is is a character trait, and that is something called entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship. When I say or entrepreneurship, when you are using that trait, using that uh, approach, leadership skill, and trying to create something new, that is sellable. So that's something called entrepreneurship. They can uh, identify the right time and right opportunity. Entrepreneurs have great idea. Ideas are easy to come, but implementations and opportunities also depend. See, if entrepreneurs generally, I won't say they have a great idea, just the implementation idea, I would say. Because let's say if we see the case of Facebook, sorry, Flipkart. Flipkart is using a copycatting model. So this is one of the business model, copycatting of Amazon. Similarly, Snapdeal, they started after Flipkart. Jabong, they started after Snapdeal. So these all are in the same league and they are using the same thing. They are the entrepreneurs, and just that they were able to manage the implementation. Entrepreneurs are risk takers. So basically, they are not risk takers; they are risk mitigators. So as an entrepreneur, we know कि हमें risk को कैसे मैनेज करना है, कैसे किसको कहाँ पे डालना है, कौन सी चीज को कैसे मैनेज करना है, कौन से काम अपने दोस्तों से करा लेना है फ्री में, कौन से फंड्स फैमिली से लेने हैं, things like that. Entrepreneurs are extraordinary forecasters. See, nobody is extraordinary forecaster. Everybody has to live in uncertainty. It's just that even you are in uncertain, living an uncertain life, me living an uncertain life. It's just that we try to organize and plan the things out so that this uncertainty is not going to affect, and if it affects, we should be able to mitigate. So that's a general trait of every human being. Age matters. So again, Coca-Cola founder was a 55-year-old pharmacist, and this doctor mad science. So I met this kid. I met this kid when I was in Canada, and the girl who was her caretaker, I met her too. And so this kid, when he was small and alone, so with that girl, they used to do some kind of experiments, and then they decided, why don't we record it and try to put it online? So this fellow kept on doing things, and by 9th, 10th standard, he has got lot of experiments online. And then, with all these things, he has named himself as Dr. Mad Science, and he has bagged several awards about this whole thing because of lot of experiments being done online, lot of viewers view it, and more things he has been doing it. But just nothing new, just whatever he is doing, whatever he enjoyed doing it, just putting it, compiling it, putting it on a resource so that everybody can see it. That's it. And then see how this recognition came. So you need lots of fund and money to start. So in the case of Dr. Mad Science, He started with very basic things, very basic things. Even if you see his video, you'll say, okay, I do it in my childhood, what he is doing at this stage. So those are very basic things. So money never guarantees any success. You never need lot of money, and even if you have money, it's not guaranteed. Many startups approach us, and I have interacted many startups in past. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन अबाउट ओके क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, ये हो गया. सेकंड क्वेश्चन, हमें फंडिंग चाहिए. क्यों चाहिए? तो ये हमें ठीक करना है, वो ठीक करना है. बट दे डोंट हैव अ प्लान. अगर वो फंडिंग नहीं मिलती है, स्टिल यू आर एबल टू डू द बिजनेस. लेट्स डू इट. देयर इज नो पॉइंट गेटिंग लॉट ऑफ मनी एंड टेकिंग अ लाइबिलिटी. अब जब घर आपके पास है, आप मैनेज कर रहे हो, तो अननेसेसरी 5 करोड़ का लोन लेने की जरूरत नहीं. So that is something you have to identify, and you never need lot of money. Starting a venture, I won't say is a very straightforward. I won't say it's not a straightforward. It's just that how ready you are to take a dive into it. Process of changing the ideas into commercial opportunity and creating a value. So creating a value system is what is called entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is an individual who thinks, reasons, and acts to convert ideas into opportunities to create a value. So, all these things have a respective meaning. When I say who thinks, that doesn't mean we don't think or I don't think. Who reasons? We do reason. Everybody attending this course, they do reason. That's why they are here. They have a reason. And who acts to convert ideas into opportunities. So when I say think, so think doesn't mean you're sitting in a room and thinking on something कि भाई कोर्स कैसे होगा, ये कैसे होगा. Obviously that is good, that is a part and that is a priority. But again, you may think of how to improve those things. Let's say getting a marks, can we improve it in some or other way? Or if I'm walking on the street, I see a lot of plants across here and there. So can I think of making them giving them water, putting some sensor or maybe some kind of system key whenever there's a morning time or evening time, whatever time suits these plants, they'll get the water it's themselves. The motor gets on, they get the water. Or you see people across taking their dogs and dogs uh, you know pooing all around. So can we have some kind of system to alarm whenever a dog is trying to poo at a place which is not supposed to, so that their owner also know? Things like that. So these are the things that is something we think, and then we can reason. Okay, ye hai, kyun hai, what, why it is happening, why not like this, what if I do it like this, and then definitely there will be outcome. So basically entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship capability lies in everyone. It's just that entrepreneur try to utilize that opportunity, create that opportunity, leverage it, or by doing the resource utilization, the right kind of planning, and then see how quickly tap that opportunity. So from idea to innovation and validation, commercialization, and startup. Whenever you have idea, you find it worthwhile, innovative, and next part is after the idea, you validate it and commercialize it. Once it is commercialized, you can call yourself startup. Even if it is not commercialized and you are practically into it, you are a startup. There is no definition of startup. Government of India has given something, and I don't think if you go and read it will make any sense to you. Second, research and IPR. So what happens? See, any new idea or any new innovation has a very limited life. Either it will go to a research paper in a journal or maybe conference, or it will go through an IPR, a kind of patent and licensing, where you can commercialize it, or maybe you're adding to a LinkedIn profile or ResearchGate profile or resume. The last is the conversion of that thing into a business. So at times, let's say I have 10 ideas, but I'm not an octopus. I have only two hands. So how can I do those 10 ideas? So I have to identify. Rest, I still find that, okay, out of 10, 6 are best, almost holding the same thing. So then I'll try to map with my thoughts, and rest if I think let's have somebody do it, or maybe with the research let's commercialize it or license that work to somebody else. So these are different models as well. You have 10 ideas doesn't mean you have to be octopus and do everything. Just prioritize and focus one. Right. So startups are generally of three types. We call it business venture, social venture, and ICT for development. So a business venture is something like obviously for-profit industry, Zomato, Swiggy, Snapdeal, Flipkart, everything around you see wherever you take the service and you pay. Social venture, key area is to solve some social issues with sustainability. Their purpose is not uh, to make money. They are just like a not for profit, but with the sustainability, at least they are able to sustain themselves. So likewise, Anveshan Foundation or maybe my organization, we are like into the social business. We just care for the social sustainability, but uh, helping the society. So like digital green, I'm not sure if you have seen it, but more or less, if you have seen this movie Swadesh, so that is based on the founder Rikin Gandhi, who has done the same initiative of Digital Green, and Swadesh is inspired by this fellow, Khan Academy. And then there's a category called ICT for development. I would not call it as a business venture and social venture, because these kind of ventures are like created just for helping the society, with the mixed benefit of getting some money, or maybe getting some money but with a mixed benefit for helping the society, but they are not exactly a business venture, not 100% into social venture. Why not 100% into social? Because they are also having some business terms into it. So there are many apps. So generally this ICT for development, they are like, smaller things like apps or websites, etc. So uh, how to start? The key is to observe, think, question, find value addition and opportunities, then build it, measure it, and learn it. So when I say key is to observe, think, and question. So this stays valid for whatever category of student, BTech, MBA, BBA students you are, or maybe the faculty. That whenever you see any new thing across, maybe students when they get some course assignment from your teachers, could be a case study, could be creating some software program, solving some specific problem, scientific problem. You see, can we use that solution into some other case, some other use case? If it is, can we actually build it, measure it, or learn it? So that's a very basic thing to start. I'll get in a little bit detail further. I already explained what entrepreneur is all about. So this is one of the standard way that we talk about when we say about entrepreneurship. Whenever you have an idea, try to build a product or a service. There are only two things possible. Either you make a website or SaaS or MaaS or any other service based thing, or a tangible product. At times, non tangible product that you can license it. Try to build that product, measure how customers will respond. And if you think they're responding well, go ahead. If you think that they're responding not that well, then come back and see what exactly is the problem, how to make that product work again, or is there something you have to leave it permanently? So whatever is the matter, just think about it and redo. So there's a book called by Eric Ries on lean strategy. So they have mentioned about the case. I don't remember that person. His store is still one of the best store. in US for the online shoes. So what he did, he faced a problem. Uh, it was like whenever he has to go and buy the shoes, he has to go to multiple stores and identify which shoes fits him, like that, to the offline stores. So he realized that this could be a problem with many other people. That was his thought. He didn't know it actually is the problem with others or not, but that was his problem. He thought that this could be problem for others also. So he created a small website. He went and he spoke to different shoe shopkeepers, shop owners, and told them, okay, I'm doing something this. If I come with an order, you just tell me what time, how much time it will take. And meanwhile, you just give me your inventory details, like what kind of shoe dimensions or designs you have. So he just created a website and put the things on. Whenever some request comes that they need XYZ shoes, he simply take the order. I mean, go to these stores, get that shoes from the store, and then get it delivered to the person. So he never had to make any inventory. अपना कुछ भी उसने वेयर हाउस नहीं बनाया, कुछ भी नहीं बनाया, just एक website. And with that website, he's the biggest shoe chain in the USA, and he still don't has a single inventory. आज भी एक inventory नहीं रखा उसने. I don't remember his name. I mean, if you read this Lean Startup book of Eric Ries, this is the example from where this whole story starts. You have the idea, just make a basic version and see if people would like to use it or not. And when you say people would like to use it, are they going to pay for it or not? फ्री में सब बोल देंगे हाँ हम यूज करेंगे, बट व्हेन यू आस्क वेदर दे विल पे फॉर इट और नॉट, then you realize your idea has a value, or it's just like that. So this is one of the key things. Once it is you get the response, you learn from it. Either you persevere, means you continue, or you pivot, you modify it. Whatever way the modification is possible, you just go through it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
Sorry to interrupt in between. So we have one point. Can you please explain the last point of previous slide? ICT4D. Somebody has posted in the chat box.
okay, so ICT for these information and communication technologies for development. So this is something uh, the use of IT or related technology. Precisely, it is this term is used for websites or apps which is created uh, wherein people are not making any business, but they have just created it. Okay, we have done it. Let people use it. They are sustaining on themselves. Like in social venture, if I go back here, yeah, in social venture, the key thing is we are trying to solve a social problem with the sustainability factor. When I say sustainability, means there is a charge associated, there is a money associated that is fed back to this social venture. इसको चलाने के लिए भी तो कुछ पैसा चाहिए, तो वो जो पैसा है that is very small, that's not for making profit. When I say, अच्छा इसको ऐसे समझते हैं, मैंने कहा कि भाई मुझे एक एनजीओ खोलना है, मैंने एनजीओ खोल लिया. लेट से मैंने कहा कि इसमें हम प्लांटेशन ड्राइव चलाएंगे, एजुकेशन करेंगे, एक्सेट्रा. ठीक है, अब मेरे पास, मैंने चला तो लिया, अब इसमें मेरे पास पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? Because I'm saying that I'm doing social work, but still you need money. Let's say you got donations, and or you try to sell some of आपने जो भी प्लांटेशन ड्राइव किया, आपने कुछ प्लांट्स हैं वो आपने लोगों को बोला कि भाई just buy it, or colleges are buying it, organizations are buying it, you are getting some money. But not for profit still means they have the employee, they will get the salary, they have to have an office, they have to have the facilities and everything. So they just make that money whatever is required, and rest they use back into their system. Business venture में क्या होता है, it's just like shares and equities happening. Let's say I opened a company, and then you people are like my partners, try to be my partners. So there then I'll give you some equity, equity in the sense, one second. some equity in the sense that you will have some share, you have some authority in taking decisions, etc. And our key thing is to make business out of it, not that social work oriented. Yes, it could solve a social problem, but my intention is not anything in the social segment. But social venture is something completely social. ICT for development is something you created something to solve a social problem, and you are not bothered about how it's going to sustain. Just that you created it is being floated there. If you go to the app store or play store, there are n number of apps created. They are just doing on their own without, you won't see any advertisements, you don't see any information being collected, just that they have created and they are working on their own. Similarly, there are several service provider websites, many Facebook pages. Let's say there are Facebook pages about if you want to find rooms for rent, or if you want to buy some car, buy a car on second hand car. There are n number of groups who are there. So these all are ICT for development. Now, have I answered correctly or?
Yes, you can please unmute yourself, Shima, and if any other point is left.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. I got it. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Am I audible now? Because I just see a message from Dr. Kankare that shall I put
Y-
a earphone or?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, man. Right. So developing the discovery skills. So this is something I just talked earlier about how to start, when to start. So this is the way. So association, these are the behavioral aspects: association, questioning ability, observation, experimentation, and networking. So ability to make connections between unrelated things, problems, object, process, project, cause, and effect is something called associating something existing with something which is not existing. And then try to see, can we fill that gap? Can we do something uh, useful out of it? So let me just give you an example. Uh, the mobiles these days, you see the mobiles कि हम उसको स्वाइप करते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ होता है, हाथ ऊपर से ले गए मोबाइल के स्क्रीन पे तो कुछ होता है, राइट? क्योंकि मोबाइल के अंदर वी हैव सम सेंसर्स कि हम उसको हिला रहे हैं तो उसका फ्लैश लाइट ऑन हो जाएगा, एक्सेट्रा. सो इट मीन्स कैन वी यूज दिस सेंसर्स to detect something, because with the movement of mobile you see lot of things happening. So can we use this feature into something else? So let's do one thing. ये मोबाइल को मैंने वाइब्रेट किया तो ये इस वाइब्रेशन से मोबाइल का समझ में आ रहा है कि अब उसको क्या करना है विद द सेंसर्स वाइब्रेशन. तो अब मैं अगर सेंसर को पहन लूं और उसके वाइब्रेशन से पता चले कि एक एक्शन ट्रिगर होना है, वी कैन डू दैट. So with this simple concept, there is a startup by some group of students. They took that sensor which is in mobile कि हम उसको हिलाएंगे तो कुछ होगा, और उसको उन्होंने एक टी शर्ट में लगा दिया. अब बोला कि जब ये सेंसर हिलेगा तो उसके हिसाब से जो भी यहाँ पे मोशन हो रहा है उसको हम कैप्चर कर लेंगे वाईफाई के थ्रू. दैट्स अ वेरी बेसिक आइडिया. सुनने में आसान लग रहा है बट करने में टाइम लगेगा, बट स्टिल दिस इज समथिंग दे हैव डन इट. सेकेंड थिंग, आपने जैसे मोबाइल को वाइब्रेट किया और मैंने बताया ना कि कुछ भी इसमें सेंसर एक्टिव हो गया या आपको वो दिखने लगा फ्लैश लाइट. मेरे फोन में वाइब्रेट करने पे फ्लैश लाइट ऑन हो जाती है. देयर मस्ट बी समथिंग. So when I made this Trishulam in 2012, which was intended for women's safety only, there the key funda was कि जो mobile है आपके pocket में, whenever it vibrates more than the normal vibration कि मेरे pocket में है, मैं walk कर रहा हूँ या बस में चल रहा हूँ, तो एक normal vibration है. But whenever it is something very extreme, कि I started running or something like that, it will trigger emergency messages or emergency messages, multimedia messages with camera images being captured and voice being captured. Now there's a simple concept which is already existing in mobile. अब मैं उसको हिला के एक triggering a message. That was a basic concept that I used in that app in 2012, right? So that is linked with association. So basically, you have to see a problem. You have to see what is there existing. Can we use it in that use case? So I'll say in simple language कि use case देखना है कि यहाँ का problem जो है इस ऐसे solve हो रहा है, क्या हम ये use case कहीं और कर सकते हैं? Second is questioning. Why not? What if? ये जो आपके conventional systems हैं, you have to learn to question them. Don't accept just like that. Okay, ठीक है, ऐसा है तो let it be like that. ऐसा है तो just go with it. Rather try to question or try to have a justifiable reason. Be convinced whenever you are seeing the thing, something is happening, just be convinced, okay, this is the best way. If you are not convinced, try to question, but you should not be convinced every time. हाँ ये ऐसे हो रहा है तो ऐसे ही होगा. iPod जब बनाया गया था, MP3 was very well into the market, very well established, but still Apple launched their iPod. Again, why they launched it? There were the internal decisions. They were able to manage the losses if there would have been any. But the the thing was, if something's already there, why not we can add a value? Why not we can solve something in a better way? So there's a company called Groupon. There's a company called Snapdeal. Groupon क्या करता है? आपको coupons देता है. You can buy coupons. You can get coupons sometimes free of cost. You can buy the coupons और उस coupon को लेके आप Pantaloon, Big Bazaar, जितने भी stores हैं, you can go and use it. Now this concept of Groupon was very well existed. Snapdeal में Kunal Bhel guy. So he thought कि भाई वो तो चल ही रहा है. Why don't we try to solve the same problem in India? And then he started Snapdeal. Eventually, Groupon is also operating in India now. Third is observing. Observe the behavior of people. That is your customers. And this is something Tata has done a very good job. So in one of the article I have read that they have, in on an average in India, 3 to 4 people in a family uses a non-geared vehicle, because they are a little bit less in cost. And this is not just in the Delhi NCR or the metro cities, this is across India. Generally, people use mopeds, and this shifted to non-geared bikes or very low cost scooters. Still, the problem of safety existed. So then, with this observation of their customer, they launched this Tata Nano. Whatever is the position of Tata Nano has today, if we ignore it, but that was one of the disruptive innovation wherein the concept was very well established that everybody should have this Tata Nano. So that observation skill is something, it's very, very important. Every one of us has to. I'm not sure if you have seen people cycling on the road. So late night or after sunset, if you see people on this cycling on the road, these days they have a cap with a red light on it, or sometimes the pedals, they have a light on it, so that you can easily judge that there's a cyclist going around, and it's for their safety as well. So these things are kind of, you observe, okay, this was the problem, and then they created a solution out of it. Experiment. Whenever you observe something, try to experiment it. So like I mentioned here, build it, build a prototype or build a minimum viable product. So for example, I have an idea, but I don't have that capability to build it. But at least I have an idea. I can create a process, and then over the time, I have to find that capable people, like-minded people, to build it. So that experimentation has to be done, and at all the stages. The first step, when I said I have the very good idea, and I'm not capable of doing it. Let's say I have the idea of making a building green building. I know how to, these are the things to be done. but I don't have people who can do it. I need some programmers, I need some hardware guys. So that is one way of experimenting, that identifying the right set of audience. Let's try to do it. Then once you have that audience, then try to go for a basic process or the improvement design, how you want to do it or whatever approach you want to follow. And iPod was first formed with the wooden foam, we call it, in the fishing boats. जो बाहर की countries में fishing के लिए they use these foams for fishing boats, और उसको they have used in designing the body of iPod so as to make it very light in weight. Networking, like-minded people, connectivity about observation and association. So here, everybody in this uh, course, so they all are, I'm sure they are like-minded people. That's why they're here. And these are the things I think you should try over the time, over this 3 months period. Try to talk to each other, and you might have some excellent skill, other might have some excellent idea, and that's how the matchmaking works. That's how you can together create some change. So idea generation and how to identify, there are no as such techniques. It's just that you have several ideas, or you know the things happening, then only you can do it. And most important is you want to do it. So there are two types of people. One, who want to say, or who says that, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to do a startup. Second, who has the idea and they are trying to focus on that. And eventually they have idea or ideas. So there are three generally ways of doing this idea generation. The first and foremost is a disrupt. Second. Okay. Yeah. So like disruptive ideas, we have already seen Alibaba, Uber, Facebook, Airbnb, Bitcoin. So they all are the first movers. They came very first in the market, and that's why they get the first mover advantage. And they'll always be known as the disruptive companies coming disruptive ideas. For example, Amazon. Amazon is leading the world because of having its first mover advantage. But copy of Amazon like Flipkart in India, it's not a disruptive. We won't call it disruptive because it's just a copycat. Copycat, and there's nothing wrong into it. How to come up with new ideas? Can we validate the best? We follow this disrupt model, and clearly says derive, include, separate, repurpose, unite, personalize, and transplant. So whatever things we are going to do in these steps, you know all these steps. Everything you know, but it's just that we are organizing so that I'll try to pamper your mind, that once you go back home, you'll see how these things can be mapped. So when I say derive, so existing and extending an existing idea to create something new. भाई हम चाय तो अभी भी रोड साइड में पीते ही थे, या किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाके पीते ही थे, but Chayos has made it very dedicated. If you're going to Chayos, you'll only get the tea, and they have added a value with the tea things. uh, CCD or Chayos, they have revolutionized and changed this tea industry. At least the people who are capable of paying, जो पहले road side पे पीते थे, now if they see a Chayos nearby, they go for a tea. And not only for tea, they do meetings and number of things over a tea is being done in Chayos. So there are many other companies are also coming up in competition to Chayos, but since they have, this company has led the first mover advantage, they are still leading it. Include. So just a minute. So include simply means if there is something else existing into the market, can we make a different one? Not recreating, but creating some improvement over it. So electrical cars, Riva was struggling for a long time. Tesla came into the market, Tesla has done only two things. One, they have made a bigger size battery, which has some more capacity. And second, they added a sporty look. And just like that, they have changed the whole market. Tesla became a Tesla, and Riva is nowhere. Riva is still, trying to partner with other car companies in India and abroad to, establish themselves. But this is how market changes. Similarly, you might have seen Milton bottles. Milton was a brand, and this brand has created a value that whenever you buy a bottle, you call them Milton hai kya. But over the time, everything is gone now because nobody uses these kind of bottle. Rather, there are many other design companies, featured bottles are into the market. So with these, we always try to include and add something new into the existing, and then recreate the product. Separate. Separate is something, a pool of service, a pool of product is already available, and can we take out a subset from that and create something new out of it? So the example here I have quoted is the Facebook. Facebook has everything: audio, video, photograph. So Instagram was only the focus, targeting photographs. So Facebook has everything. Instagram learned that let's feature only photographs. Then Snapchat, it came as sharing of photos and videos, and photos that only last for a few seconds, for a few 10 seconds or whatever it is, with a limited time. After that, it gets deleted. So similarly, whenever something already exists and we try to do it. So YouTube recently launched their YouTube audio. So YouTube already had video and audio. There were several tools available in the market. You can download them, you can extract audio, but now YouTube has launched its own product. So it's a kind of separated their existing system. So it is a new venture within them. So you can not,
Yeah. Mm, don't-
sorry.
Sir, we have a question in between from Dr. Priyanka. If a product or brand launches its own store using its own product or brand to show extent of its utility, can it be termed
Yes.
as derived?
Yes. So like I mentioned about this YouTube case, or okay, suppose Chayos is only selling its own tea. Yeah, definitely that's not a problem. See, let's say Chayos is open and they're trying to sell Tata tea or some red label tea or branding somebody else. Even if they do, they are actually a reseller. They're selling something else, somebody else's product. And if they're making their own product, is something, there is a product which they are selling. For example, I opened a car showroom and I'm selling Toyota cars. I am a Toyota car reseller, that's it. But I opened a car showroom wherein I make my own cars and I'm selling it. So that is something, cars is something already exists in the market, and I'm creating new brand, new product out of this knowledge of cars which is there. So then we go to separate, like I mentioned, Instagram, Pinterest, everything is there now. And they are like separated from some or other kind of superset. So superset is already having these features. We just took it out, some specific features out of it. For example, drones. Helicopters do exist, aeroplanes do exist. These all features are like extracted some smaller segments, and we created drones. And drones vary from different use cases, different size, different configuration, different purposes, because they are trying to fulfill what these devices have been doing, but on a smaller scale. Yes, repurpose. So the founders in the SlideShare, I'm sure everybody has seen SlideShare. Founders in SlideShare planned for a YouTube of presentation. So PowerPoint presentation is already there. So, and with Google, they also have Google presentations. Apple gives Apple pages. So now, can we make a YouTube of PowerPoint, like everybody can place their PowerPoint like we do on the YouTube for videos? So that's how SlideShare invented the SlideShare platform. Though SlideShare is now brought by LinkedIn, but this is the core idea of SlideShare. So they have created a new purpose. Now, Unite. So those who have interest in games, they will be able to connect themselves with this fact. So there are three major players, um, given 3 to 4 major players in the gaming industry: Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, Nintendo, Oya. So they have been, taking the whole market. They're the major shareholder in the market. Oya was doing very bad, and they simply use the existing Android ecosystem, and just like that, their demand increased rapidly. Now they united with the existing ecosystem. They didn't do anything new. Android was available, Windows systems were available. Earlier they were following the same pattern. Now they just reunited and boom. So personalized. There are many companies, many facilities already in the market. But when you try to,
Yes, you may continue.
yeah, so then is it possible to personalize to handle a specific use case or specific user? Yes, and that's how this Go Colors is a company only for ladies. And what they have done, you'll only get the um, precisely the leggings. This is how they started. Only the leggings and pajamas, salwar, kurti, etc. They started with this, and they are dedicated for that only. They personalize the business, and they have a lot of customers who are looking for this kind of product, because people value their expertise. For example, like Mintra or any other company, everybody goes there and they just take it just like another shopping website. But when you go exclusively to Go Colors, you know that they are going to give you some value, certain value, uh, because they are focused into a business. Transplantation, and this is what I've been talking about, copycatting. So this is one of the standard things. When I say copycatting, uh, Indians are well known as copycatting external entities or things happening outside India. But uh, that is a kind of business model. It's a need. Um, you cannot say that okay, something is happening outside, we should not do it. You have to learn, you have to do, and that's how different countries are doing it, and it's an important thing. So that's how Amazon was operating outside in different country. We remodeled it and made Flipkart in India, and similarly Groupon existed in different country. We remodeled it, and then Snapdeal came into the scenario. All ideas are not equal. We have to evaluate ideas that can be turned into the opportunities. And this is how, by eliminating improvement, prioritizing strength, planning my capabilities, we can do it after those analysis. So there's one way of doing it, like score assignment on scale of 1 to 5, uh, investment required, ease of business, marketability, fit with interest trends, product differentiation. These are things which I find important, but these are not fixed. You can add more features out of it, like capability of doing it, or maybe that if that product involves, for example, Android development, can I do it, or can I have my students easily come and do it as a project, or can I outsource it, can I hire interns, some internshala? Can I pay the those interns some money? So everything you have to keep in your mind. So all those questions, whatever comes to your mind, just write it here. And that's the first step when you try to identify, and the key step. uh, so with these things you have to be convinced, okay, this is what it is, and then evaluate whatever parameters you have kept. You just identify some weightage कि भाई ये 10% important है, ये 1% important है, ये 50% important है. So that segment you have to identify कि भाई जो आपकी strength है, you have to give them a lower this thing कैपेबिलिटी. जो आपकी वीकनेस आप उसको बढ़ाओ, क्योंकि वो वीकनेस है, तो यू नीड मोर पीपल अराउंड इट. So let's say I said कि I have to make a personal website. So I identified कि investment is 20%, expertise is 20%, marketability 25%, interest and strength is 25%, product differentiation. तो मैंने देखा कि product नया कुछ भी नहीं है, assign 10% weight. Now whatever is the if you see here, come back here, we'll assign the score for all those things. So I assign score. Investment मेरे पास कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. ईज टू ऑपरेट ठीक ठाक है. मार्केटेबिलिटी के लिए आपको कुछ ज़्यादा एफर्ट्स नहीं लगाने. फिट विथ इंटरेस्ट कोई एफर्ट्स नहीं लगाने. और प्रोडक्ट डिफ्रेंशिएशन बहुत आपको एफर्ट्स लगाने पड़ेंगे कि उसको बताने के लिए कि डिफरेंट क्या है, व्हाट्स न्यू इनटू दिस थिंग. And then we calculate a weighted score. Likewise, they have all your ideas, you just put it, you assign a weightage, which is we have defined around these 5 parameters. You give a rank, give a score to them, that those scores where you are very good, those which need a lot of efforts, and then multiply them with the weightage and the score, and you'll get marks. Whenever you get 5 out of 5 or whatever scoring you are doing, it's a simple maths. You can go ahead with that. So with this, I have also mentioned there are 2 more ways of doing it. Yes. Um, Second is the mind mapping technique. So mind mapping technique is something you create a map. It's not actually map like Indian map or any other. It's just like you put something, write something, and then try to मेक डिपेंडेंसीज क्या है उस पर. आप उसको कनेक्ट करते जाओ, एक ट्री टाइप का स्ट्रक्चर बनेगा. अच्छा, इसके लिए मुझे ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए, यहाँ भी जाना है. लेट्स से आई विल जस्ट कोट वन एग्जांपल. In this one of my initiative, it's a mobile app. It's called Toilet Finder. Now, when we started, we thought कि okay, हमें यहाँ पे list of टॉयलेट चाहिए सारे इंडिया से, सब जगह से. कैसे मिल सकते हैं? We need GPS कोऑर्डिनेट. कैसे मिलेंगे GPS कोऑर्डिनेट? हमें कहाँ चाहिए? तो A हॉस्पिटल से, B पेट्रोल पंप से, C रेस्टोरेंट से, D पुलिस स्टेशन से, जहाँ जहाँ भी पब्लिकली अवेलेबल. तो अब ये मैंने इनको चारों से कनेक्ट किया. देन अब इनके पास कैसे जाना है? अब मुझे पुलिस स्टेशन जाना है. देन आई हैव टू गो टू देयर चीफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. वाया देम आई हैव टू डू दिस थिंग, और आई हैव टू फाइल एन आरटीआई. पेट्रोल स्टेशन के लिए ए इंडियन ऑयल, टू भारत पेट्रोलियम, 3 हिंदुस्तान पेट्रोलियम. देन हाउ टू गो फर्दर? आइदर यू रीच आउट directly to all those stations, or go to their headquarters, take a request, or file an RTA. So like this, we keep on creating mind maps. And these are the very basic thing. I mean, it's like whenever you are sitting on a tea, or maybe you are teaching in a class. So this mind mapping technique is very important, not just for entrepreneurship or bringing in startup, even for while teaching and while learning. Whenever we do a note making, you might see that there's an approach wherein you write things, and okay, iske baad ye hua, the next step is this, the next step is this. So you can create all those mind maps. It's very simple, but it's very effective. Third is brainstorming. There is no protocol, there is no rule of brainstorming. There are tools available these days, like one of them is Mural, MURAL, that supports a cross collaboration platform and a brainstorming platform. But when I say brainstorming, it has a whiteboard. It has different kind of colors, pens, pencils, and then you can do it, collaborate it online. So likewise, there is no as such a platform for brainstorming. It is more or less, you feel that this is the problem. Your colleagues, your friends, your family feels that, okay, the problem you are facing is not only your problem, but also others' problem. And then think around it, how we can solve it. Think around, okay, इसके अलावा और क्या हो सकता है. So I'll just quote another example with this toilet finder. ठीक है, हमने सारे टॉयलेट्स ढूंढ लिए. So we have the toilets from 90 countries. We have um, good feedback, we have worse feedback also. We have done social initiatives. Now what? अब इसके बाद क्या? तो अपने आप चल रहे, but still there has to be some new features ताकि लोग उसको और यूज करें. Then we realize, we talk to people, we try to observe. Then we realize कि एक जो common problem है इंडिया में, नर्सिंग मदर्स को अगर अपने बेबीज को फीड करना है, दे डोंट हैव ऑप्शन. दे कांट गो टू एनी प्लेस. एयरपोर्ट्स, रेलवे स्टेशन पे तो बना दिए, बट स्टिल अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट यू हार्डली गेट एनी प्लेस. सो कैन वी ऑल्सो आइडेंटिफाई दोज थिंग्स इन दिस ऐप? व्हाई नॉट? बट नाउ वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई कहाँ से करें. तो वी ट्राई टू स्पीक टू होटल्स कि भाई आप हमें अलाउ करेंगे कि नहीं. होटल्स क्यों करेंगे? बिकॉज होटल्स विल गेट अ विजिबिलिटी that they are supporting this kind of initiatives. They can do the CSR. They can sell their story, how they are helping people. People would like it. So that is one way of brainstorming. Then second thing, we are giving this location of restrooms to everybody. Can we also solve the problem when a person is physically disabled? Everybody cannot go every washroom. So then we try to identify those locations, whether it is open for, it is appropriate for physically disabled or not. So these are the uh, kind of brainstorming techniques that happens once you sit on across the table and you have collaboration tool. Or if in this situation like pandemic, you can do it online. Mural is one tool, Google Classroom or something like that is there. I don't remember the tool name, where you can collaborate online. So there are collaboration tools. So brainstorming is very important. Disrupt model something gives you very deep ideas. I have quoted very simple examples, but there are many other examples. So there's a company called, I think I have it in my slides further, about Maman Paz. So this is one of the company, I don't know if you know about Dabbawalas. So this is one of the company, they're using their concept. Then on mobile. So this guy, I think, yeah, Arvind Rao. Arvind Rao was a this guy, financial professional, working in the New York. And then he thought, why not we start some company that can give wallpaper or ringtones? And then he started about this company, which completely changed. So they started with this thing, and then their deliverables become so higher that they were the first Indian telecom service-based company to be listed on the stock exchange. So at times revolutions happen. So we have good success stories. We have a lot of failure stories. And yeah, so I was talking about this Mohammed Paz. So this guy, they're from Iran. They simply use the concept of Mumbai Dabbawalas, and with that concept, they learn their story and then uh, use the same thing across in their country. So there are different stories around. There are several cases that can be used. So I think I have covered most of the thing that is important here. And yes, so I'll just say it's my turn. Or you have to ask me anything or any query.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for sharing your views. Now, participants can unmute themselves or ask queries in the chat box, please.
So I'll share one more thing. There is a problem. I was in Bangalore. So I realized that the one of the key challenge is the uh, pollution. And second, I think while I was in hospital, there were some friends. Uh, he उसका कुछ था फैमिली में, कुछ बेबी बेबी हुआ था उसके कजिन का. So there I realized that people are paying a lot of money कि अपने बेबी को सेफ रखने के लिए पॉल्यूशन और ये सब वो सब, भले ही दे themselves are responsible for creating that pollution outside. So pollution is a problem, and parents being more concerned about the newborn babies or little babies is one of the key thing that I observed could be one way of mapping both of them. So then we thought of कि क्या हम इस चीज को solve कर सकते हैं. I just uh, found out some of my friends and then talked about this problem, and two stories came out of it. So I was in Canada when I learned about this thing. I went there and I was talking about with some of my friends regularly about creating a low cost air purifier system. And we have spoken several times over phones, and Skype and Meebo, Skype, WhatsApp, and mobile phone. These are we have used all these modes of communication, and we started getting emails and messages about various companies making air purifiers. I mean, see how our communication is being trapped. Anyhow, then we try to design something. There's a technology already in the market called aeroponics, hydroponics. So we have used aeroponics, wherein you can do the photosynthesis in your own environment. अभी दिन में photosynthesis, रात में photosynthesis जो होता है, तो दिन में you will get oxygen, रात में you will get CO2 from the plants because of photosynthesis. We realized, can we do a photosynthesis अपने घर में बिना sunlight के? So we tried, we bought some sensors. It was Chandni Chowk में सब कुछ मिलता है. We got everything from there and tried to do this artificial photosynthesis in house, and it worked. हमने दिल्ली में रह के स्ट्रॉबेरी का छोटा सा पौधा उगा दिया, which is impossible thing. You can't do it until unless you control the environment. So controlling this environment was an experiment. We thought, can we do it with the aeroponic system already there? We tried and it worked. देन चलो ठीक है, हमने आइडिया था, हमने उसको एक बेसिक सा एक्सपेरिमेंट करके टेस्ट कर लिया कि हो सकता है. नेक्स्ट स्टेप, वी थॉट अगर हम बना रहे हैं तो उसको बेचेंगे किसको? somebody should be there to buy this product. Who could be the right audience? And then that जो हमारा मोटिवेशन था, वहां से वी स्टार्टेड कि ठीक है, लेट्स गो टू देम. I ran a survey to some known people and told them to circulate to others that if some device like this is created in the house, which gives you the fresh oxygen right from the plants to your house, and it gives a very good look and feel, जैसे fish का aquarium होता है, something like this. Will you buy it? First question. If you buy it, can you afford 35,000 for it? हमने जो अपना कैलकुलेशन किया था उससे आया था कि हमें we need a glass chamber, we need multiple plants, we need sensors for good quality sensors for photosynthesis, measuring the temperature, connecting with it mobile, make having 2 to 3 exhaust fans कि जब CO2 आए तो बाहर जाए, ऑक्सीजन आए तो circulate हो proper. They agreed. So I think out of 13 14 people, 3 4 people agreed that they'll take it. Then once we did the second prototype, and we realized, okay, हम अगर इसके रेट को और आधा भी कर देते हैं, still we are getting 150% profit अपना सब कुछ हटा के. तो अब इस प्रोटोटाइप के बाद हमने फिर से सर्वे रन किया उन्हीं लोगों के पास, एंड लाइक जिन्होंने एक के लिए कमिट किया था, दे केम टू 2, और जिन्होंने कुछ भी नहीं किया था, दे ऑल्सो एग्रीड. सो आउट ऑफ 12 13 नाउ वी हैव 8 or 9 people agreeing कि okay, we'll have it, we'll take that product. So with that, then we thought, okay, now this is the right time to go with it, and hopefully we'll launch it very soon. So these are the things you keep on experiment, and at times if you don't find resource, you have to have go into a network. You have to go out of your house. You have to go out of your shoes and then locate who can be the right person. Because if you're not able to convince people to come and work for you or work with you, it's going to be a challenge. And that is one of the good aspect, that you have to be a good uh, communicator, that you can convince. See, please share the template to create and validate a business plan. I'll share it separately. Something about network marketing, the ways of test market response, potential demand. Test the market response or potential demand for a product without really producing or making a product. See, the best way, Nilesh, the best way uh, is to identify a product demand is, first thing, you have to observe and evaluate what is happening, what is required. So I'll give you one case, a very practical case I have seen. If you go to your local grocery store, you will see makhana. And these days they sell like 20 rupees के पैकेट में आता है, 10 rupees के पैकेट में आता है. Otherwise grocery store में you will see raw मखाना, और एक दो कंपनीज का होगा, सबका कुछ अलग अलग रेट होगा. Roughly you will get somewhere around 1000 rupees kg. अगर आप 100 ग्राम है, आप कैलकुलेट करना, 1000, 1400, 1200 ऐसे ही जाएगा. अगर लो क्वालिटी का होगा तो 800-900 रुपए जाएगा. Now, this is one thing, people are agreeing, ठीक है, people are buying, it's in all the grocery store. But do you know, in the reality, the cost of these makhana is not more than 400 for the best model, the best size. And जो सबसे छोटे size का होता है, that cost is not more than 250 or 300 per kg. Now, see, when people are taking it from the raw market and just making a package and selling it off, is it a need? Because systems are working fine, I don't think so. अगर आपको पता भी नहीं होता, then you are okay with it. But at times you have to understand and you have to create a need. For this need creation, you may have to bear the cost. That is one way. Second, you have to keep evaluating the problem or improvement areas in the domain. And once you identify that, okay, this is one of the improvement areas, the problem domains, maybe is the right way of doing things, and the solution in your mind, maybe it's not possible to create a prototype. Let's say you are from an excellent business domain, you have an excellent business or fintech based idea. For that, you need some high end technical guys. You don't have those technical guys at this stage, but you want to verify, okay, if I make it, if I bring those technical guys, will people buy it or not? You have to identify who are your potential buyers. What is the reason they would be buying it? Not just the problem statement, but many other things associated with it. If this is a problem, is it something good to have? The solution is good to have or need to have? ये विटामिन है कि ये फूड है? विटामिन है तो चलो ठीक है, नहीं भी लेंगे, लेट भी लेंगे तो चलेगा. बट इट इज desperate thing to have, definitely it has a market. Now market है, उसका cost कैसे होगा? Then this is a very tricky thing. You have to identify कि बन किसके लिए रहा है. अगर आप फेना बना रहे हो दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए और फेना बना रहे हो गांव के लोगों के लिए, तो दोनों में कॉस्ट वेरी करेगा, क्योंकि दिल्ली के लोग ज्यादा पेमेंट करने के लिए तैयार हैं. दे कैन इजिली मैनेज दोज पेमेंट. बट यू आर गोइंग टू tier 3 city, you put a very high cost, the cost of surf excel or ariel, they won't buy it. So you have to identify the audience, and then you have to pitch in with, like I did a survey mechanism. That is one way of doing it. Other, you think it's a genuine thing, you don't have to wait for a survey. uh, Nilesh, do you think I have answered?
Yeah, it's pretty much. Thanks. It is more beyond what you just say. Explain with the example of what your purifier. Yeah, I was looking for kind of solution like you explained. Go for a market survey. Go for an observation. Yeah, these kind of things will help. Yeah, thanks. You answered my question. Thank you.
So I'll quote one more example. This for like everybody. So I was with a company, mentoring a company called Mr. Needs. Concept is, we get milk every day in the morning, and in the society generally we have a mother dairy or smaller stores who deliver the milk, or you go and pick up the milk. So the solution is, you don't have to go downstairs to get the milk, and the milkman in your society, he don't have to go upstairs to give you the milk. Rather, this team of Mr. Needs, they'll give you the milk. If it is 50 rupees liter, they'll give you for 48 rupees liter, and right at your doorstep. They'll take it from the same vendor, ताकि vendor का business खराब ना हो. And vendor is also happy that he don't have to move, and every day the order is fixed. He is not going to have any um, item left on his shelf. Very fine. So he used to buy the things from that store, from that mother dairy shop or whatever milk shop, and then used to deliver it to the flat, the people staying in the flat. Now, if you see from the one side, you'll feel, I mean, what kind of business model is this? Why somebody is putting his money and making the customer, and it's even not a customer, you're just putting your money. And when you started, is this a genuine problem or not? See, in apartments, people are lethargic, and the problem is they are lethargic, and we are trying to make them more lethargic. And that is something, the observation which came from while doing the initial survey. They had one of the guys standing at the mother dairy shop, and the people used to come in, and he used to simply ask कि timing क्या है. He tried to observe the timing, see कितने बजे दूध आता है, कितने बजे तक खत्म होता है. And then there's some people who are coming in the evening because they couldn't take it. So they have not got the forms filled. They have done a visual survey and created a report, and that's how they came into this product. Now, coming back, I'm buying milk from the store for 50 rupees, and I'm giving it to the user for 48 rupees, putting 2 rupees from my pocket. It's a loss, yes. But the good point is I'm gaining the confidence of customers. I'm making that customers on board, and tomorrow I'm going to sell the advertisements to them. For example, when you see news, there are certain pamphlets into it. Selling that pamphlet has a cost. Similarly, there are other grocery items. It has a cost. Now, when I have the customer set established, I can easily push all those grocery items with some additional cost and recover my business. And these things are already in the market. Now, if you read about the Daily Ninja, I think they're in Pune. They're doing exactly the same thing. Exactly same thing. And they're making very good business. Got raised very good funding. So, okay. So, may you please. Network marketing is basically uh, creating a pool of, uh, I would say, trees, multiple nodes. So, for example, I'm a reseller for some product. There's some XYZ company. I took their license, and then I'm selling. Hey, can you sell it for me? Then he's saying to somebody else, can you sell it for me? So if you go to these express highway, in this Gurgaon express highway, you'll see a lot of constructions going on, and out of those outside the construction, there are multiple वो लगे हुए हैं, small huts created, and people are sitting around it. They just create that temporary tents they have created. They sit into it. Whenever you cross it, they raise your hand, they raise the brochure, try to stop it. These people are selling some product which is being governed by several intermediate brokers, and they get some smaller commission. So the more they sell, the more they'll get the money. So this is what happens in the network marketing. There have been companies in the network marketing, and basically they have named it as a multi-level marketing. So initially the whole concept was same, but over the time this MLM has made this networking concept very bad. So they are very badly hit. So MLM has taken a different route, and network marketing is like a very simple term in a way that I have all my people, everybody is listening here. And let's say in this whole discussion, I pitched about Mr. Needs, that something like this exists. So that is my network. Then one of you will happen to talk to your friends or others, and then you again talk about it. So I just injected about one company, and it gets injected across different veins and arteries and capillaries. So that's how the basis of that's the basis of network marketing. So it is it's kind of relevant wherever the business requires a network association. In fact, I would not say uh, it is not relevant for any specific business. For example, if I have a software based service, I still need somebody to market it on my behalf, and I can give him a referral bonus or something, some referral amount. If I have a, like I mentioned about this hardware box, I call it biosphere box. So if you are going to take it to some, recommend it to somebody else, obviously you are going to help me out. My product is going more into the market. So network marketing has its own benefits. You cannot restrict, okay, यहाँ पे हमें नहीं करना है, यहाँ पे करना है. So Sachi, do you think I answered this question or?
Yes, sir. Comfortably answered.
Vipin, what exactly you want to say here? Can you please share a template to create and validate business plan?
Yes, sir. I'm suitably answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Right?
Vipin.
Yes, sir. Within
How?
this side.
Yeah,
Sir,
Vipin.
basically now we have got, for example, as you mentioned, that we have got different ideas, let us say two, three ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to take up the idea further. So what is the kind of things we have to evaluate? What are the things we should keep in mind while planning? For example, the Excel table which, or the table which you showed,
Mm-hmm.
that is, I think, one component of it by which we can identify how we need to create a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the kind of thing which I'm looking for, that if we have some way
So
to create.
I don't think there is any such template, but I'll create one and share with you. So see, again, I quoted some parameters here, and more or less it covers everything whenever you think of it. But if I go precise, so let's say Vipin wants to make some supercomputer of low cost based on the sensors, local sensors available. So can it be done? Yes, it can be done. But is Vipin is capable of doing it? When I say capable, it means uh, he has to invest money. Can he invest that much amount of money? He has to have a good team, good manpower skills, good people who can do it. Do you have it? He need people who can buy it. So have you validated the market? So likewise, these the one which I have shared is a very basic, but with the different parameters, you can scale it down. So whatever parameters you need, I'll try to make it in a detailed manner and I'll share with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. If there is any other query you can ask, you can unmute yourself, or we will end up with the session for today.
Rahul, just help me one thing.
Sure.
What's the
Yes,
name of
sir.
this Reliance Mobile, which is available everywhere?
So, Geo?
Geo, right?
Yes.
But so basically, Geo's business plan was very simple, I would say. So, like Vipin, you asked. So, Geo has the capability of taking risk. Geo started with a loss-making business. What they do, they simply disrupted the market of telecommunication by making the everybody so that they can afford internet. जिसको नहीं भी आता था, they also started using it. He Geo played a very good role that everybody use it. It is free for 1 year, free for 2 years, and all those schemes initially as a same over the time it became their own phone. And if you go to the tier 2, tier 3 cities, hilly areas where BSNL used to work, now everywhere will get Geo because they penetrated themselves into the market and they incurred huge loss. They invested lots of money. This investment is easy for them because they were capable of bearing that loss. They had that capacity, loss bearing capacity. And once they have done it, they made people habitual. They disrupted the market of Airtel, Idea, or Vodafone. Everything is gone now. And with this Geo, you are very much habitual, and it came up. it came up very high. If you see their shares in the market, that's very high number of users using it in the villages, tier 2, tier 3 cities, tier 4 cities, everywhere Geo has very good hold. So that is one of the strategy wherein you you know when is the right time to make the pivot your whole business model. You keep on putting your money and then simply change it. So at times these are the business processes also which we innovate over the time. And I mentioned somewhere in the beginning that IPR is another aspect where you can go for the patent and trademark and the copyright. So again, they are also generally, if you want to start something, you don't go for patent and copyright, because if you get into that kind of business, at least 1 year is gone for patenting process, at least. But trademark and copyright, they don't have much validation. Even if you have done a patent and you file a patent, and if I use your patent, you you identifies, okay, this is the guy who is using my patent. You'll ask me why are you using it, I'll simply say sorry, and then you can't do anything to me. Still your patent is like um, will stay in the documents, nothing much. um, what do you say? Yes, Dr. Priya, Geo has a very different differentiation, completely a disruption in the market. Product image by exclusive handset, and that was the whole plan. The bringing the exclusive handsets was the whole plan. Now, as per this chart which I have mentioned these 5 parameters based on any random thing which covers all those things. But again, when you especially talk about different cases, in some case maybe one more point will get added, or maybe two, or some of them will go off. Yes. So you have correctly mentioned that from 500 or something. Sometimes I'm not sure you are aware that when I was in agriculture, I used to visit these villages. They have distributed the SIMs free of cost for 3 months, and then again extended for 6 months, then again extended for 12 months, provided you show them that you are having a Kisan card. They have a concept of Kisan card for the farmers and their family. So almost everybody tells them they are a farmer because of law and order, not that controlled manner, and everybody leveraged that facility. However, the network was not that good in Geo, so they never created a network in one go. They identified the density कि कहाँ उनका sale सबसे ज़्यादा हुआ. Then they tried to superimpose their network from the existing service providers. They leveraged the BSNL network or other companies, and then meanwhile they created their own, established their own network across those platforms wherever they find that there is a multimodal connectivity from different cities and a more density, with the probability of getting more density in that area. So that's how they have done it. But about this score assignment, score assessment, we can definitely do it. And yes, indeed a differentiation. We can definitely do this assessment. But one thing to keep in mind, like I have mentioned the weightage. So this weightage is something you have to do it. For example, some XYZ idea is there, and I tell you or anybody else, okay, this is the idea in my mind. Can you create this computation for it? You can't do it because I have to identify all these parameters whether I can do it or not. So with this only, you can. I think the best person is the group or the people or the person himself who has this idea in their mind.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, just one question. Looking at your matrix, where you've done the computation, if you can just take us through briefly, taking the Geo example. If you
Okay.
were Geo, or in your opinion, how would Geo have done the weightage? Just to give us an idea.
Okay. So rather, I think I won't call myself Geo. I'll just talk about my first venture and then try to see why it didn't I'll tell you why it didn't succeed and how I started. So it's a very
Fair enough.
simple idea, and basically it does not require much investment. It's very easy to operate. Marketing was a tough job for me, and that was like mixed of interest. I never thought I'll start it, and I was never into it, and it was very different. Now, what exactly it was? So I started with the name called Mera Movie, My Movie. I was not very sure what we should keep it, but um, we kept it eventually My Movie. The purpose is in that time only Book My Show was there in the market. So since there's the only company, they have limited services, but the idea was good. So we thought, why don't we also do it in the market? And let's, if they are the first mover, let us be a second mover and take the second mover advantage. Second mover is always good in terms of they know the problems this first mover guy has faced. Very good till this point that, okay, we decided we'll do. Now, for investment, we first checked about the developers who is developing the Book My Show portal. Naukri.com, with our connects, our friends in the Naukri.com, we identified they were paid very less, 6,000 to 7,000 rupees, and they were based out of Mumbai. We offered them, will you do it for us? And then these negotiations were on the discussion. Then we thought, why don't we design the whole website? We know it how to design. It's just that we have to spend some 1 or 2 day additional in taking some of those features. Okay, so that investment part is gone. Second part was, if we make it, how will we make sure that people will buy it? I mean, when I say people, I have two kind of people associated. One, the theaters, the movie halls. Second, the end users. Whether end user will buy it or they'll make the payment online. Because during that year in 2011-12, these online payments were not that, it was very filthy approach. You are always doubtful. So whether people will accept it, and Book My Show has established their brand name. So that is something, a problem. So we reached out to DT Cinemas and 2 3 companies. Basically, they're kind of vendors who take the contract. So with DT Cinemas, we have some understanding, and they agreed to help us once our portal is live. Perfect. So we started working on it, and market was, like I said, the challenge. The operation was not that much. We knew that once we have it, once we have one, at least one customer, will start running to the others. So market will be a challenge over the time, not at the initial level while scaling. Now, fit with interest, I said that I was not that into it because I never used to go to movie theater that much. In fact, even today I don't go, and I don't do these online bookings. So I never had this kind of problem. But I realize in my circle with the friends, they always have to do it online just to avoid any, standing in queues, etc. But a different age group people, they don't want to do it online. If they have to, they'll go to the counter to buy the ticket. Product differentiation, never realized it's going to be any different from them. Never realized around it. So with this, uh, we have identified some, if we come back here, we'll identify some weightage. And let's say the weightage which I have put, investment will be much less. It will become 10% for me. Operations, easy to operate, will become again 10 to 15%. Marketability will be a challenge for me. And interest, like I said, fit with my interest. Basically, it doesn't mean whether I'm interested or doing it or not. It is also with the team's interest, the problem interest, the people's problem, whether people will like to have it or not. So all those things combined. Product differentiation, I said nothing much different. I know what they are doing. I was just trying to do the same way. Right now, once I actually started working on it, and then we went to Canada to launch it. We discussed the whole business there, and then we renamed it. Complete model was renamed as Tixo. So from Mera Movie, it became Tixo, because earlier we were just booking movie sites, movie theaters. Now we become, whatever event is happening, you can book anything. be it a college fest, because we realized कि हम लोग यहाँ fest होते थे in our college days. So in fest, at times you have some paid event. Then there are some conferences. People go to conference alerts and other sites. They also require from some ticketing engine. So there are n number of avenues. And with that, and we also observed the Canadian market. They were not into theaters that much, but with the meetups, they have the concept of meetups. $1, $2 they pay. We revamped the whole business model, and the idea is, if you want to if you are doing a paid event, we'll charge you some money. If you are free event, we won't charge you. You can book the ticket in just 3 clicks. You don't have to make a fourth click, but in 3 clicks your ticket is booked. So that was our value prop. And with that, we brought the business to India. We came back, we launched, we had some customers over there. We brought that business to India. Now, one thing which I have not mentioned here in the matrix, uh, which I realized over the time about the team. Team is very much important, which we had some internal during the term sheet and other thing. There are team disputes, and after that, there was a radical exit from this venture, and over the time, this venture closed. So this is one of the raised a very good question. So this is one of the thing in this core assignment. Team was very much important for me, which I realized, and it should be in their score assignment as well. That how important factor is that your team member, how much you have trust, or maybe your I would say the founders are good enough to maintain that association. Because if the founder differences happen, it's very impossible to control the business. Even it is of worth $1 million, it's going to be a downfall. So that's how this matrix is very important.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, okay, is anything
Eh,
else?
uh, I think, sir, you have answered most of the questions asked. And any questions left? I think all the questions even in the chat box are answered.
At times, from the faculty's point of view, I think I'll just give this one more example. At
Yes,
times,
sir.
whenever you identify that there are gaps in teaching or education systems, use your research to convert it into an opportunity. So there was a uh, there is a company, English on Click. So this company's concept was simple. It was started by a faculty. Uh, the concept was, people spend a lot of time learning physics, chemistry, mathematics, and very less time only during the exam they learn about English, they talk about English. So can this problem be solved? So since the person who started himself was a teacher for English, and he knew that this was a problem because of the marks. People spend more time into the other subjects in his school and less in here. So he took a batch of students who were in ninth class that time. He started creating some presentations, small presentations for each chapter, with some audio, video into it, and shared with those kids. And by putting it, making it online, and try to review their performance. When these students have their last 6 months left, they started going through it, because this was developed in December, November, December period. They started going through this, and they, after the exams, their performance was monitored. Then throughout the year, these students, when they got into 11th class, their performance was measured. So this 2 years of research showed an increment in their performance of these students. So then it was like, he came up with the idea, why don't we launch it formally as a venture, but let it be social for some time, because contents are already there. I happened to talk about this thing in a DST Inspire camp where uh, 99% marks holders from across the India came to attend, and they were in class ninth when I was quoting this example that English is a language, but there are many concepts in humanities, science we learn in English, and there was a concept of note making out of in the English course in CBSE, note making, reading, writing, etc. So can't we learn these note making from this, let's say some physics concept using this note making? Because this fellow in the English on Click, their website, they have all those scientific contents. If you go and read the contents, you basically studying the English, but you're learning the physics or chemistry concepts, all the concepts of these different geography, pol science, everything. So that's how it's a one case. Try to mix other things available and create a sustainable system. However, over the time this company got closed and they are revamped into, I think, a new company. I don't remember the name, but this company is closed. Somebody owns this name now, so they are not the same. So at times, I mean, whenever you are teaching, you might observe some students or some new pattern. Maybe you can use it as an opportunity. Like I said, every entrepreneur doesn't mean you have to be a startup. Be an entrepreneur, and being an entrepreneur or entrepreneur capability will help you wherever you go, be it in your job, be it in your higher studies, wherever you go. That will be an that will create a difference in your personality. So all these things which we have talked, you questioning the things, when you question things because you want things perfect, when you observe things, then only you are capable of questioning. When you network with people, you understand what is happening outside world. You are able to have a better communication and personal traits around it. When you associate, basically you see how you can work together, different teams. So all those things are very closely related. I have said in one way on one concerns, but once you go through it, you'll see a lot of connects among everything what you do. So I think I have this much from my side.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Even in the attendance form, I am reading side by side. It was, I'm reading one of the comment I like. It was one of a great session. The various example quoted made it very easy understanding and helping visualizing the various aspect of entrepreneurship. So I think this says a lot about the session, and the way you quoted the various example from real day life, day-to-day life, helped us to understand, help participants to understand, relate what they are actually doing and how they can start up with the things. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the session.
Great. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Priya.
Thank you.
So I'm just putting my email ID here, Rahul.
Sure, sure, sir. Yes, sir.
And if you have anything, you can get them, email me. Okay.
Sure,
I'll be exiting from here.
sure.
So I think I sent it to you my messages, right? No.
Yes, sir. You send it to me. I will post, sir.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
post in the
And
group.
Nick, my messages are going to you, so just post it. Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
I posted for
Rahul?
everyone, sir.
Yeah, let me see how to exit. One second, I'm just trying to locate. Okay,
Yes, your screen is stopped, sir.
screen share I have stopped, right? I'm leaving
Yeah,
it. Okay.
sure, sure.
Yes,
Thank you
all
very
the,
much, sir.
yeah.
Yes, Charu ma'am, you can unmute yourself, please, or type in chat box for any doubt.
Hello?
Yeah, yes.
No, I was not typing. Actually, I did not know the how to fill the attendance. So now I filled that Google form. I think
Sure.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it for attendance and feedback.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rahulji, this particular presentation will also be put up on Google Classroom.
Sure, ma'am. I will ask sir to share the presentation and I will put on.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I have some doubts regarding the timetable scheduling from Ananya and basically from the students of IGDTUW. So in the last session only I had specially put on a question, and based upon the responses, 53 point something percentage was in the favor of 5 to 7 only, and rest were 12, 13, 14% distributed. 20% was 25, 26% was for weekend, and rest 12, 13 was for this. So I think we will be continuing with this schedule only. Maybe we can start from 5:15 unofficially, but official timings can be 5 to 7. For a coming week, we have scheduled one lecture from 11 to 11 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. That is from Dr. J.C. Pandey. He is a senior faculty. So I will be sharing the schedule in advance, well in advance, by communicating with all the guest speakers.
That particular one, Rahulji, is on the 2nd of October, which I think is a national holiday, which is why
Yeah,
you put it at 11.
yeah, that is why I put it at 11 only.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Ananya. Yes.
We had an issue because we have our classes from 3 to 5.
Yes.
Then we have this session from 5 to 7. That's why we were saying this.
Yeah, but this session is not daily, and okay, I will see. Actually, that depends upon the external speaker as well. For the schedule I have shared you is finalized. I have communicated to external speakers as well. For next time, what I can do at most from 5:30, I will schedule it for some of the sessions so that you can have a break.
इससे तो और लेट हो जाएगा because हम लोग जल्दी end करना चाहते हैं
Yeah,
classes
this is the problem. I run a you see, I run a poll as well, you can say, and I receive most of the responses from in the favor of 5 to 7 only.
Yeah, sir, can we not arrange on weekend, Saturday, Sunday?
Uh, okay, I will see some of the sessions. I will see to arrange in weekend as well. But for now, the schedule I have posted is the finalized schedule for next 10 sessions. I think 10 session schedule I have posted because same has been communicated to various speakers as well.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Also, can we start it from 5:30?
For the upcoming sessions, I will see. As of now, the schedule which is posted is final because you see there are various guest speakers as well, and same has been
Sure, okay, sir.
communicated to them.
Okay, sir.
I request anybody, if anybody known their friends have missed the WhatsApp group, I can see. I think two participants are not joined as of now, and I'm even unable to reach them. So all are requested to join and stay connected on the WhatsApp group and Google Classroom group. Both the platforms will be shared for sharing the information.
Hello, sir. Kanika this side.
Yes, Kanika.
Sir, actually, due to network issues, there are some points or paragraphs which I have missed. So, can I get the session recorded video of the session?
Yeah, I will try to share session recording, but that is a bit difficult for us. So definitely, Kanika, I will be sharing presentation with you, and we'll see for the session recording as well.
Thank you, sir.
Rahulji, if this is it for the day. Can we
Yeah,
leave
this
the
is,
meeting?
yes, this is it. Anybody having any doubts can stay in, rest can leave and mark
All
the
right.
attendance.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, all can leave. If any issue in attendance can stay in. I will be ending session in next 2 minutes. So, yes, Shivangi.
सर मुझे ये
Yes,
जानना था सर, जो अभी आपने पीडीएफ शेयर की थी 2-3 दिन पहले ग्रुप पे, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे, तो
yes,
सर उसमें असाइनमेंट्स थे हमारे, सर 5
yes, yes.
असाइनमेंट्स, राइट सर? उसमें हमें क्या करना है, मतलब वो कैसे सबमिट होंगे, क्या करना है
Assignments
उनको?
will mostly be asking all the external speakers to give assignments related to the topics in multiple choice question form, so that not much of your time is wasted in those. So you can expect 10, 15, 20 maximum questions, MCQ type questions that only need to be submitted.
अच्छा सर, मतलब जैसे वो असाइनमेंट 1 के नीचे जो टॉपिक्स हैं, मतलब वो जो एमसीक्यूज होंगे
Yes,
असाइनमेंट 1 के, वो उन टॉपिक से होंगे सर, ऐसे ही
yes,
सारे उस?
yes.
ओके,
Similarly, you will receive 4 5 assignments in MCQ form. Basically, Google form will be shared with you. You can mark your answers there directly, or if
ओके
there
सर,
any subjective question, you can type in there and submit.
ओके सर, मतलब सर वो शेयर होगा गूगल फॉर्म सब वही?
Yeah,
थैंक यू
Google
सर,
form will be shared.
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच.
Okay, I think I will be ending the session now for all. If anybody having any doubt, any issue left with attendance or anything, can reach me out directly on WhatsApp or through my email. Thank you.